Saint Omer, the first fiction feature by French filmmaker Alice Diop, centers on an inconceivable crime. A mother abandoned her 15-month-old child on a beach where she was washed away to sea and drowned. It is based on a true story that garnered national and international attention, a trial that the filmmaker actually attended. The film follows a character in Diop's spectator role and, while it is concerned in the woman who perpetrated the deed, its primary inquiry is not, as it may have been in previous works, how does one make any sense of senseless tragedy? Saint Omer questions, what if an unbelievable crime isn't really unbelievable after all? It is a challenging line of inquiry that offers no simple solutions, but Diop pursues it with an encompassing, patient focus. It is a captivating reflection on issues as diverse as racial otherness, tense mother-daughter relationships, and the elusiveness of notions like truth and justice in the actual world for viewers willing to give it the same, almost mesmerized focus the protagonist gives this case. A professor and author of Senegalese descent named Rama Kagame makes the trip from Paris to the commune of Saint Omer for the infanticide trial of one Lawrence Coley, Guslaji Malanga. The nation is intrigued by this case because of its unique features. Lawrence, who has confessed, enters a plea of not guilty after asserting that he was under the spell of witchcraft. Rama plans to compare it to the mythological story of Medea and use it as the foundation for a new book. Lawrence's story, though, makes her realize how many aspects of her own life are similar. The accused, a Senegalese immigrant, moved to France to pursue academic studies. She was romantically involved with a white Frenchman as Rama does, and she has Rama's problematic mother-daughter relationship background. Rama finds herself understanding Lawrence more and more as more of her life is revealed. Eventually, all that is left is the one awful decision that is supposed to be completely inexplicable, which makes Rama's anxiety about being 4 months pregnant all the more problematic. Courtroom dramas can be deceptively difficult to direct because there isn't much movement in the environment naturally, but Diop's formal assurance embraces the static without being stuffy. As Lawrence and other witnesses are questioned by the judge, Valérie Drevely, the prosecuting attorney, Robert Cantarella, and the defense attorney, Vaudinay, Aurélia Petit, the camera is typically locked in specific positions. Except for a few infusions of Rama's perspective, these sequences play out like recreations of genuine transcripts. Those of the true case did in fact serve as the inspiration for the screenplay, but the filmmaker is not only drawing on her experience as a documentarian. Saint Omer derives significance from deliberate, unostentatious decisions. The camera's position and angle, for instance Rama's empathy for Lawrence builds as he initially approaches her from a diagonal angle before turning to face her directly. The movie regularly jumps between speakers but rarely at the beginning of a sentence, encouraging viewers to pay attention to how actors act rather than what is being said. These are not qualities that can be enjoyed idly. Saint Omer necessitates complete focus from its audience. It also demands a lot of the actors, who receive a certain amount of thematic precedence as a result of this editing approach. Consider the time that Charlotte Clemens, Lawrence's former philosophy professor, questioned the legitimacy of her interest in Wittgenstein because of his distancing himself from her African culture. The camera first catches Lawrence's reaction, which threatens her resolute demeanor as his enraged gaze transforms into something resembling insecurity and defeat. When the judge informs her that she must remain standing when she sits, she immediately looks dejected. The protagonist then casts a contemptuous stare as the professor resits down next to Rama, her own rage seething beneath a body language that is unwavering. Malanga and Kagame's acting performances not only help to flesh out their roles but also illustrate the effects of racial bias and institutionalized oppression, the existence of which is demonstrated rather than explained. Despite the court's apparent lack of interest, Saint Omer is very interested in how Lawrence's blackness contributed to the social isolation that the trial does establish. Through Malanga's performance, viewers can see how being othered, when combined with her other life challenges, crushed Lawrence's spirit in a way that it hasn't done Rama's. Although there are certain formal flourishes in Diop's film, especially when it comes to probing Rama's early recollections, the focus is on gathering significant facts rather than establishing overarching, definitive claims. Saint Omer benefits from research as befits its interest in academia, and viewers will find that reflecting on it later reveals fresh links. For instance, is Rama actually drawn to Lawrence to the extent that she is compelled to picture herself in that improbable situation? Or perhaps she recognizes elements of Lawrence in her Senegalese mother and wonders how close she was to meeting the same end as the child. Saint Omer's viewers are left in such a state of uncertainty that this possibility can become apparent to them days after they've finished watching.